And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Sling'N podcast, episode 112. I'm TJ.
And I'm Kent.
Well, I'm back at home and in the basement of doom.
Basement of doom.
Yeah.
Well,
regrettably, and someone didn't mute their computer. Again. Come on, man. It's 112 episodes.
Uh-huh. I tried to hide behind my own face, but it's your face. I can't hide from you anywhere.
Nope. I am everywhere in all things at all times.
That was adorable. I really did. I tried to hide from you with you. That did not work.
It's like you're hiding behind me too.
Hold on, I have a question. Why don't I have a little microphone man with a do we never do one of these for me? Nope.
So I've got your logo. I was able to upload mine. I'll have to play around with that a little bit. I honestly, I don't know what I'm doing.
I want an emoji just like me.
Yeah.
Really, if you think about it, here, I'm gonna do it again.
No, I can tell you exactly why. It's probably because you and I are logged in under the same account.
Right, we are.
So if you logged in as you,
right,
we could make yeah. We'll address it later. We'll fix it in post production like everything else.
So I'm looking at this. I'm thinking our Bitmoji people would be the exact same people with different color beards.
Yeah, although the difference being is I actually drew that.
Wow, yeah, right, and you'll draw mine too. Because if I draw mine, it will be a stick figure.
I mean, yeah. It was that was a lot of fun though, drawing that out.
That's a highly involved skill set. I can't do that.
It took a hot minute.
Yeah,
that was not done in an evening. That's for sure. But yeah, no, it was good stuff. It was good stuff. I wanted to play around with some of the cartoony stuff when I first started getting and dabbling in graphic design, and that's where I ended up just kind of doing that.
All right. So we're going to tell our viewers this evening the harrowing tale of the time TJ lied to me about the map all weekend and tried to murder me on Black Diamond Jeep trails.
I did not lie to you about the map. The map lied to both of us, buddy.
Nope. The story shall be told that you knew what was happening. Charlie was in on it.
I can tell you that someone didn't listen to the fucking shopping list I put together for him for his Jeep.
Jeep's fine. Yeah.
I want you to put together a list of everything that I should do to my Jeep. I want to spend X. Okay, cool, man. Sure, no problem. Came in just a little over budget by what, like $20? I was pretty close to what you wanted to spend.
Yeah.
And you got two of them. two of the 8 things that were on that shopping list.
It was fine. It was all fine.
It was okay. It was all good.
Jeep's fine, by the way.
Well, of course it is. You had a damn good navigator.
It's a Jeep. Yeah.
By that I mean my wife got out.
Your wife did a good job plotting me through the most gnarly shit I've ever driven through in my whole life, as far as rocks go.
Oh! Just wait, because you still got to come down here, Bubba.
Dude, that was so much goddamn fun.
We're hooked, right?
Yeah.
Like, we went and did it the first time at Windrock, so we've been to Windrock twice. We're going to try to go back in September, which hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You should bring your ass down here. First week of September.
I was going to say, there's an IDPA match that weekend. But...
Fuck that IDPA match. There'll be another IDPA match.
Right, but I'm supposed to be helping. Is it really the weekend of September 2nd?
Well, I'm taking off that entire first week.
So last week of August, first week of September, or you're taking off the 2nd through the 10th, or what?
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Well, which weekend are you going to Windrock? The first weekend in September or the second weekend?
Oh, it'll be the first weekend. Just saying, homie. Just saying. I'll show you some real trails.
Justin, be prepared to get a lot more private lessons that weekend.
Just saying. It'll be a good time. All right, so Offroad'n, right? So we talk about gun stuff, right? We talk about medical stuff. I think, Kent, honestly, very rarely, and I think where we should kind of take this podcast is your rig ready to go? Right?
Really?
Yeah. And we're not talking about just like are you going to go rock bouncing, right? Everyone talks about the proverbial SHTF shit hits the fan type scenario, right? I've got to get out of Dodge, right? I'm bugging out. Is your equipment up to the task? And I'm not saying that you've got to necessarily build a rock bouncer that'll run competitions up a 90-degree vertical hill, climb walls and shit. But honestly, the stuff that you and I went over, hypothetically speaking, I can imagine quite a few scenarios where right off of a highway, if you were trying to circumnavigate around maybe traffic or roadblocks or something like that, where you could encounter very similar obstacles to what we faced off on that trail or off on those trails, right?
Yeah, certainly the lower, like, I've never seen 48,000-pound rocks sticking straight up in the perfect direction of a differential off the side of the highway.
Those little things. Don't worry about those little fellas. They will fuck with you.
But yeah, dude, I'll tell you right now. Once upon a time in Vermont in 2011, there was a hurricane. Hurricane Irene shut down Vermont for the better part of a month.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that I did kind of do some bug out, shit hit the fanny, crazy circumnavigating, taking ATV trails to get in and out of towns and stuff like that in full-size vehicles. And I did that crap in a friggin' long box Dodge Ram 1500.
Right.
With not a lot else going on with it.
Right.
So this freaking Jeep that we got sitting up here, hell yeah.
Right. And I would even argue even your pickup.
Oh, sure. My pickup's
probably... Right. So so let's talk about that first, right? So the vehicle choice. Now, me personally, if we're talking about shit hits the fan, look, I'd love to bring the Jeep. I really would. But the distance, the mileage I can get, I'd really prefer to take my truck. Right? I mean, look at the two vehicles you have, at least that you have, right? Your truck is essentially a life support vehicle, right? It's a chase vehicle, we'll say. And that's honestly what I'm kind of built mine into. The difference being is that mine's purely rear-wheel drive. Yours is four-wheel drive. Yours far more capable of a pickup than mine is.
I've even got the FX4 and all the Ford goodies.
Right. Now,
I'm explaining to a gentleman today why I would not buy the Ford Lightning, the new electric battery Ford Lightning.
Yeah.
Besides all the electric shit, you can't get the FX4 package in that truck.
Right.
You can't get a real good suspension.
Right.
So, non-starter.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I think one of the things that I would consider doing, and let's kind of break down this capability, right? So we're talking, 4x4 versus two-wheel drive, right? Upgrade from 4x4 would be 4x4 with lockers, right? Front and rear lockers.
Yep.
The reality of the situation is, in the times I've been off-roading, was the 4x4 necessary? It certainly was. But that being said, the stuff that I've done, could I have done it in two-wheel with the assistance of secondary support equipment, a la the winch, right?
I don't know. So I think in a truck, I would say 70%, 75% of what we dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
A truck in rear-wheel drive with a winch could have eventually been taken through it.
Oh, let's be clear here. It will not be done quickly.
All right.
Right? It will not be done quickly. And I'll give you a perfect example. So at Windrock, and you will see this trail, I promise you. Trail 16. It is one of the trails that I have yet to do. It is a black trail. But to all intents and purposes, it's not horrible. Like, you can watch all the videos you want on. There's plenty of people that have completed it. Not so many in a stock Jeep, but even those with very lightly modified vehicles have been able to complete this trail. It's a 4-mile trail. It will take you about 5 to 6 hours.
Holy shit. Look at this.
What are you looking at?
Trail 16 at Windrock.
Oh, okay. There you go.
I Googled it.
Yeah.
I think not. I don't think my Jeep can do that.
I think you can.
Oh, wait. See, this part I can. This part I can. That's going to require a winch.
Well, and see, this in lies the point that I'm making, right?
Right.
If you were to take away the 4x4 and you have to winch it, your winch could pull you out of quite a bit. So here's what I have learned, albeit relatively intermediary with regard to my knowledge in off-roading. Lockers mean you have to winch less. 4x4 means you have to winch less. Right?
Yeah.
The winch is the common denominator here. Right? It's incredibly slow, takes forever. But if the question is getting from A to B safely, you're not necessarily trying to run the Baja 1000. Right? We're not trying to go 120 miles across the desert. Or I should say 120 miles per hour across the desert. Right? We're just trying to unass ourselves from this area where there is danger as quickly as possible to our destination.
And I tabs of mileage on our thing that we did.
Oh, how many miles we went?
Yeah.
That probably wasn't more than, I'd say 30 or 40 miles, if that.
I was going to say 50.
Yeah, 30, 40 miles, 50, at tops 50.
Because
God forbid they have a scale on the Crayola map that they gave us.
Boy, I'm gonna tell you something. There's a lot of like social media influencers in the off-road space that rave about this place we went. AOAA, Anthracite Area Outdoor Recreation Adventure Area Association,
and Emporium,
or whatever the fuck. That was the worst goddamn map I've ever, dude. I could draw you a map.
Yeah, that map was shitty.
I could draw you a map to get from your house to the Dollar General to buy Copenhagen, and I would do a better job from memory right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, woof.
Yeah. That map was terrible. I can tell you that the one for Windrock, you have to pay for. It's like, I think $9 or $10 for a week of access.
I'd have paid $100 for a squared away app or map.
Yeah, but it's like $9 or $10, and you get it there's a year access to it. I think it's like 20 or 25, but for a week, for 7 days, you can get it for like $9.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have like an annual pass, you go there all the time, you practically live there. Sure, get the year pass, whatever have you, to the application. But it's accurate. It works really well. And I will say this, the difference between Windrock and AOAA is there's how they have the pink and black will take you back to the main trailhead.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get that with Windrock. It's good luck. Pack a lunch.
God bless you.
Oh, it's 73,000 acres.
73,000 acres.
Yes, it is the largest privately owned off-road park in the country.
Wow.
Yep. Now, there's some stuff there I'm like, no, we're walking. We're not getting up on that one. Nope, not happening. But, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there that, the Jeep's more than capable of doing. But, yeah, so with the truck, Jeep, I would still, for the truck, I would still recommend the lift, bigger tires, whatever have you, to get the ground clearance. But I really don't think that in everything that I have done, 4x4 was 100% necessary. Now, again, would it have taken forever? Absolutely. But I could do it. And I think that's important. That's the important thing to note is the capability. Right.
I think you get a lot of bouncing and skipping off of shit that you could have crawled over otherwise.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. But, again, capability, right? So,
yeah.
But I'll tell you what, it's funny. Folks, you want to see Kent shit a kitten? Lead him down a trail where your Jeep is far taller than his. You say, hey, buddy, you want to break that winch out? Oh.
Okay. So let's tell the story correctly now. So first of all, I don't don't know what 2 inches is in your house, but 2 inches isn't far taller. Okay, Mr. Ginger Pants.
It's the additional 4 inches that I get from my tires over yours.
Fine, 6 inches. You're 6 inches longer than me, just like everybody has ever been my entire life. When you start at 0, everyone else is 6 inches longer.
Stack of dimes.
That's right. Anywho, I was doing just fine until TJ went right and the trail said black, and he went right anyway.
It did not say black.
And he said, oh, nope, the app doesn't work. I can't read the map. I don't know what's possibly happening. Doop-a-doop-a-doop. And then we go down over the hill, and I'm like following my ginger.
Hold on, slight tangent. So just to put into perspective how shitty this app was, we would be very clearly on the trail with our little GPS dot, just boop, 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 just following along, and then bloop, take a shit. We're in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
On the map, we're in between, like there's no road. Nothing.
I'll agree with you there. There was no goddamn road.
Yeah, but it like we went from knowing exactly where we were to go, well, coin flip.
Yeah, well,
I can promise you we were still in Pennsylvania the entire time. That's about the best I can promise.
I'm not certain of that either. I'll tell you this, dude. The only time, see, in that time, like the winch wouldn't have helped me in that crazy rock garden. Because even if you winch through
the scraping and the rubbing, no, you're right. But getting over it and getting through it to the other side, it would have. That's the point. If we can agree that the scraping and rubbing would have happened regardless,
right?
That's where the lift and the bigger tires would still come into play and be useful.
Now, for those playing the home game, mine is a 2019 JLU, which is already taller than a JK from that same model year. And it does have 32.5-inch tires on it.
Got to get that 0.5 in there, huh?
Listen, I take every half inch I can get.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
And I have a winch on it because I subcontracted a ginger into helping me put a winch on it. That was fun. All right, so podcast fans, maybe you don't know this, but TJ has TJ's toes are as tall as his lift.
Hold on. That's what I get for putting your bumper and winch on in flip-flops.
That was hilarious.
Yes, I have freakishly large feet.
I mean, you have weird feet. I don't know about large. You have like hobbit feet.
Less hairy, but definitely proportionally, yes. I'll give you that. Yeah. I wear a size 13 shoe, and four of those sizes are toe.
Fucking easily. I'm picturing TJ freaking like on the computer at work like this, typing like
just with my peanut butter. I mean, when you got work to do,
right? And I just, for that physical act out, I just turn the lights off and almost knock my whole desk over, and I don't even care because that is what I picture. I just picture you like a monkey just sitting there.
Your bumper and winch got on, did not?
They did. Those toes have haunted my nightmares. I haven't been able to get an erection since you left.
Well, that's your problem because my OnlyFans is a booming.
It should be. Like, what's that app we were talking about? Feet Finder or whatever?
Only Feet Finder, or something. I don't know.
We're gonna put our wives on Only Feet.
I mean, hell, I could have one for each of my toes.
You really could.
So, yeah, good time. So, well, this podcast took a turn, as it usually does.
Yeah, it did. So let's see. There was also the crazy hill where you were like, you might need your winch, and I was like, nah.
Well, no, so what bothered me with that hill was not necessarily the grade, because I mean it was a steep climb. Just a side note, by the way, I don't know the solution to this problem, but we recorded some of it. We posted it on our Instagram pages and Facebooks and stuff. But no matter how we filmed, and my wife and I have filmed off-roading plenty of times, but no matter which way we do it, it never, like, the video never quite shows you how steep that is. It's like, oh, he's driving on flat ground. What's the problem with that? No, motherfucker. I'm literally holding onto the steering wheel to keep from falling out of the seat.
Yeah, you can see the horizon. That's all you can see. You're going up the hill, and you can just see blue sky and trees.
Yep.
You can't see the ground.
Yeah. But no, what bothered me with that particular climb was with how low your Jeep was or is, and there was that nice little, like, sharp rock sticking out at the top.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to see you high center and puncture an oil pan.
Yeah, we got around it.
You did well, my friend. You did well. You shit Tiffany cufflinks there for a few times, but it's a good off-roading trip when you got your foot on the brake on, like, you're trying to navigate something, but your legs are shaking the entire time. He's like, oh shit.
Your legs weren't shaking.
No, yours were.
They were not.
Uh-huh. That's the story you're going to go with, right? Okay.
All right. What made my legs shake? I'll tell you what. Honestly, the thing that made me the most nervous was the damn water.
Well, so, and rightfully so, honestly. Water obstacles are some of the most dangerous obstacles to go through, regardless of the surrounding terrain, because generally the water is very muddy. You have no idea what's underneath it. Like, if you're going to pop a differential or puncture a fuel tank or an oil pan or really fuck something up, it's going to generally happen in a water obstacle because you can't see what's underneath it. You have no idea.
Yeah, that was unnerving.
So, and you about had to paddle, bro. Hell, I about had to paddle. That shit got deep.
We made it.
We did.
My entire freaking... I had water coming up over the headlights.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So let me ask you this. Having done what we did, what modifications would you like to make? If money was no object, what would you like to do to your Jeep to better handle stuff like that? What do you think could have better prepared you, equipment-wise or outfit-wise, whatever, to have better handled that?
I'll be honest with you. I'm happy with my setup. I don't think I'd change a thing.
Okay.
Because it's going to need new tires someday.
That is correct.
So I'll get bigger tires then. When I get bigger tires, I might lift it, obviously. But other than that, the stuff I would like to do more of is, like, I'd like to put more, like, some rock sliders and some armor and some skid plating in better places. Although I got to say, the JL factory skid plating setup is light years ahead of what they had before.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is a lot better. It is a lot better. There is light skid plating. I don't know of anything prior, but the JK and beyond, the factory skid plate's not terrible. The problem with the skid plates is that those skid plates generally only cover the gas tank on the JK.
Yeah, on the JL, I have way more than that.
Yes.
So
slightly extended, yes.
I'm happy with that.
So, yeah, that's actually not a bad setup. And that's honestly one of the things that if I were to, without changing the height or different tires or any of that other stuff, right, I'm on the same track as you are. I would much rather have a stronger defense where if I wanted to slide off, like if I wanted to go high center on a sharp rock, I could and just kind of teeter my way back over to the other side, not worry about damaging anything, right? So that's kind of where my perspective is on it. So I can agree with that. I like the choice. I like the option.
I'm really happy with that winch setup.
Yeah, the dude that installed it fucking knows his shit.
He does. He absolutely does. But that was a good buy, really.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I am a bit saddened, though, because you ordered the synthetic line, but they sent you a braided cable.
Yeah, you know what else they did? They sent me a freaking $100 credit for the website.
No shit.
Uh-huh.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad they made that right.
Yeah. Hey, we fucked up. Sorry.
Yeah.
They were like, you want the other winch? I was like, just send me the line. I'll change it out. They're like, no, I don't know about that. Okay. I'll give you $100 credit. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. The reason I switched over to a synthetic line myself. And the reason being is because it's one, safety considerations. Both, and let's be clear, guys. If you do plan on off-roading, you do plan on outfitting your vehicle with a winch, right? Because there's actually even a lot of dudes around here. They'll take their Jeep or their truck or whatever have you when we actually get like 2 or 3 inches of snow, and everyone freaks out and goes and buys the most, the lowest shelf life foods and drink, milk and bread, in the grocery store. But they end up getting stuck. There are dudes that will drive around with their winches and stuff, and they'll actually help pull people out of ditches and whatever have you. So having a winch is quite useful, even if you're not going to go off-roading, right? It's a useful tool to have on a vehicle. That being said, though, braided cable versus synthetic line, there is a significant safety consideration. And let's be clear, both are capable of snapping. But the likelihood of significant injury following a synthetic line snap versus a braided cable snap are far less. Not zero, less.
But less.
Huh?
But less.
But less, significantly, yes. Also, on-trail repair is easier with a synthetic line.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Well, so I went and got, and I didn't get a chance to show you this, but I keep it in my Jeep. I went and got from Factor 55, which is a company that makes stupid expensive off-road stuff. Really good stuff, but expensive stuff. They make what they call their fast fit.
Yeah, you were telling me about this. I know.
Yeah, it's essentially like grandma's knitting needle, right? It's an aluminum machined needle with a threaded end that takes a wire basket, right? It's kind of like a one of those Chinese finger traps, right? So you can cut your synthetic line off at a slight angle. You open the basket, it closes on the line, and then you can reweave it through really quickly. Right now, that same function can be replicated with a ratchet extension, like a 3/8 drive extension or a 1/4 inch drive extension, and some electrical tape. But having a dedicated tool for that particular task is incredibly useful.
Yeah, I could see where it would be.
So, and it was like $50 for the tool. So,
you got a lot of spare parts.
I do. Fun fact. I will change one thing about the upgrades that I wish I could. If money was no object right now, what I would make. Heavier duty steering components and linkages.
No more ginger.
Did you lose me?
I think we lost each other.
Oh, you froze up on me.
Yeah, you froze up on me.
Okay. Anyway, but like I was saying, I would like to upgrade the steering components because when I got home, I found out what that knocking was when I was turning.
Mm-hmm.
It was my steering drag link on the hub side, which is not a spare part I have in the Jeep.
Pretty big piece of metal.
Yeah, so that there's 2 pieces to a drag link, right? Well, really 3 pieces if you count the collar. But you've got the steering side, which is literally just a threaded ball joint. I've got one of those because those are most likely to break. But the ball joint on my hub side, which is the longer piece of steel with a ball joint on it, that ball joint blew out on me. Now it's still together; it's still drivable. We drove it there and back with that knock whenever I would turn to an extreme angle. But yeah, I ripped the whole thing apart in the front. I was like, "What is this sound coming from?" Everything checked out. I grabbed the steering linkage, gave it a shake, and sure enough, that thing is loose as hell because the ball joint failed on me. To replace it, about $100. Not an expensive part. To upgrade it to like a 1-ton configuration, $600.
Whoa.
Yeah. $600 for that piece of shit.
Hell, you could do the whole repair 3 times on both sides.
Yeah, you could, because I think the entire assembly is like $130. 140, right? That's for both ends and a new collar. But to upgrade it to a 1-ton part, $600. I'm like, okay, because I mean, naturally, wife and I got home. I was like, hey, I found out what that knocking was, and we started talking. I was like, hey, she goes, well, what are you gonna do? I was like, well, I'm gonna fix it. I'm like, but since I got to replace it, I might as well upgrade it. And I started looking at the upgraded parts, and they were 6 times the price. I was like, holy shit, never mind. So, yeah. But I wouldn't mind like a solid aluminum tie rod. That would be a good improvement as well. Those are about $100. And that's because the solid aluminum steering linkages, they have a better memory. So when they flex or bend, their ability to return back to their original configuration or position is higher.
Shut up, Justin.
You Jeep guys ever go looking for more power and torque after adding all that additional rotational mass and trail gear? No, because Jeeps don't need that shit.
It's fine. Just say, shut up, Justin.
There's no rotational mass when you're only going like a mile an hour.
If that. Dude, Sophie walked the trail while we were doing the obstacles, and she got way ahead of me.
Yeah.
Her and James, little human, small legs.
Carrying a small child. She got further down a trail on foot than we did.
Yeah.
So, but no, in all honesty, though, yeah, look, there is a law of diminishing returns when you get too big on your tires and stuff. The JLs, so Kent's model, actually handles this a little bit better because the new transmission. Now, he has a 6-speed manual, but the automatic edition or the automatic version has an 8-speed automatic transmission, and those actually handle the additional rotational mass really well. Mine, however, with 5 gears, and when I'm in 4 low, I can only go 2 gears. So, but when you're traveling at highway speeds, it matters, right? But that's honestly why I think that steering linkage failed. I think rotational mass and anything getting off balance or whatever have you, it's going to increase the probability of like your ball joints failing, your hub bearings failing on you, stuff like that. These are all things that you have to check anyway, but they'll still wear out regardless, but they wear out faster when you have the larger tires.
So you know what's interesting? I had a lot of success on that trip in 4 low and 3rd gear.
Right.
Because manual.
Right.
That was a real good ratio for those trails.
Mine's a fully semi-automatic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I can manually shift mine. I've got that slap shift, right? But when I'm in 4 low, it won't really let me go out of 2nd gear easily. But then again, I've only got 5 to spare. Your ball joint never fails you. Shut up, Justin.
There you go. Dude, I stole Justin's because my vehicle is the med vehicle for class.
Right.
And during Tim Herron's class, I had to padoop.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to leave the range real quick and in a hurry.
Right.
And some other people were using the clubhouse and they locked it. And I thought we had unlocked it, left it unlocked. So I freaking had to hammer my way up to the porta potty.
So you Dukes of Hazzard his little Honda.
I did. And I kind of, so the thing is I forgot when I was in his car, like I hammered up there real quick, but I was also in a hurry to get back because I was AIing for Tim Herron. Maybe like want to get back on the range as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So I jumped in it real quick to run back to the class, and I put his shift lever where my shift lever goes for reverse. And I thwadapped the porta potty with a CRV.
So, Justin, that new shade of blue that seems to be staining on your paint, it's shit water.
It made that sound. It said, "Thwadapp." What's great about hitting a porta potty is the fuckers bend in and then they just go, boink.
Yep.
Yeah, it's got all-wheel drive and general all-terrains. It's a lesbian Jeep.
Lesbians laugh at you in their Subaru.
What about the brown stain in my driver's seat? That is unrelated.
Completely unrelated.
Completely.
Although we did find a note in the glove box from Mike and the boys.
Nice.
Dirty Mike and the boys, something like that.
Reference. Mm-hmm. No, Justin's got that little $4,000 crap wagon. He got that thing running pretty good. He had
So when we got back, and this is one of the great things about working on the Jeep. Honestly, I'm actually kind of glad I've got a vehicle that I can push to limits that will actually break things, because then I have an excuse to fix things. More importantly, I have an excuse and a reason to teach my son how to fix these things. Right? So, little man helped me change the oil, helped me replace the rear differential fluid, and I got to go through those things with my son. Right? So, I'm glad to have those things. And we had this conversation. He goes, well, why are you changing the oil? What does oil do? This, that, and the other. We got through, the whole engineering talk about why engine blood is important.
Earl, you gotta have Earl in there.
Had to have the Earl talk. But I even told him, I was like, look, bud, you change the spark plugs routinely, you change your oil routinely, you keep an eye on things, you take care of those vehicles. You'd be surprised how long they'll last you, which is some of the most basic maintenance.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, hell, my dad's Tundra, now he's got two of them, but his original one, it's a 2000 Tundra that's got 355,000 miles on it. With the exception of replacing a radiator, all he's done is change the oil and the spark plugs in that thing, and it runs like a scalded dog.
A raped ape, I believe, is the...
A raped ape. Runs like greased house shit.
Yeah, it runs like a raped ape. Off-roading's fun. I want to off-road more. Yeah. Matter of fact, Justin just asked about air compressors on board. I said to TJ, I said, hey, I'm going to bring that air tank with me so we have air with us. And he goes, and I said, well, fuck you. He pulls out his Milwaukee 18-volt kick-ass air compressor that you can tell how many PSI you want your tires at, and it'll do it for you.
Yeah. Now, I will say this. There is some credence to having some onboard air. The challenge. So here's the issue that I have with onboard air, like the actual onboard air compressor, whatever have you. It's a high cost to entry. It's got a very steep cost barrier, right? So the air compressor itself is about $1,000 for a good one. For the top of the line, dual piston, you don't have to worry about it fucking up on you, but you can run air tools with it as well. Is like the ARB dual piston air compressor that you can configure into your vehicle. It's about $1,000. Then you have to install it. You have to run the lines for it, right? And if your vehicle dies, you got no energy, no power, dead battery, whatever have you, you ain't running shit. So I'm much more fond of, if we're just talking about airing up and airing down tires, then a little, like a Milwaukee M18 air inflator is perfect. If we're talking about running tools or airing up tires quicker, or having something that doesn't rely on energy, I like the idea of a large volume CO2 tank.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring my air tank. It's not a CO2. It's just a portable air compressor tank that you fill up and leave full.
Right.
Yeah,
but the CO2 tanks, you can carry more.
Yeah.
In volume.
I've run air tools off the one I have at a job site for like an afternoon.
Right.
Ain't bad.
No, it's not a bad option, right? I like the idea of the air tank better. You can build a solid, 15, 20 pound CO2 tank, very much like the, what the hell is the name of the company that makes them? They're stupid expensive. I want to say Monster Air or something like that, Max Air, whatever have you. They're about $400 or $500, but you can build one for about $150, $200. And it's literally the same thing. It's missing the pretty candy coated paint job.
Yeah.
Which would make sense if you had a place that could refill it for you. The challenge is when you buy something like that, a lot of places, especially around where I live, they don't refill CO2 for you. It's an exchange program, just like a propane tank in most cases, right? Now, I've got places I go to refill a propane tank, but literally every other big box store, it's an exchange program. Give us your tank, you get a new tank fully charged, it's all good to go. So with the CO2 tank, you can literally just you buy one that's just not pretty. You buy your own regulator. You keep your regulator, and when it runs out of CO2, you just swap it out for like $20.
That makes sense.
So, of course, mentioning medical, I think, is important.
All the medical. There was so much medical on that trip.
Well, I mean, and think about it, dude. Literally, of all those trails that we went on, right? Notwithstanding any damage, whatever have you, to the vehicles. I mean, getting out to navigate that stuff, you trip on a rock, bust an ankle, slip, fall, cut yourself on one of those rocks, crack your head. The probability of injury, even doing something as simple as walking those trails, is incredibly high.
Right?
Yeah. If you're going to go off-roading or whatever, guys, you've heard us say it on this podcast before. If you're not going to carry a gun, you should carry medical. And if you're going to carry a gun, you should still carry medical. Because the probability of you needing medical over a gun, I wasn't worried about us getting robbed on the trail. I wasn't.
There was a lot of dirt bikers out there.
I had my gun. Let's not be silly. But I wasn't overly concerned.
Oh, funny story time. I want to tell a funny story?
Okay, sure.
There were a lot of folks of South American descent at this particular property.
Yes, there were. They're all from New Jersey, oddly enough.
They're all from New Jersey, and they were dirt biking. And,
most yes.
A lot of them were staying at the same campground that we were. So at one point, TJ's kids were annoying him. So I decided to take them for a little adventure quest, like a little side hustle.
Oh God, yes. Okay.
Come on, kids, let's stop annoying Daddy for a minute. Let's go for a side hustle. So we went on an adventure quest to go get water. We jumped in my Jeep to go get water. And when we went down in the Jeep to get water, the gentlemen of South American descent were there. So I began to speak Spanish with them. And we had a pleasant, general, fourth grade level at best conversation, right? Hey, how are you? Good, how are you? Where are you from? Oh, New Jersey. Cool. We're from Central PA. But in Spanish. And, I get back in the car with TJ's kids and his daughter, who's, not even 10 yet, looks at me as we're getting in the car and she goes, Kat? I'm like, yeah, honey, what's up? She goes, how'd you learn to speak New Jersey? And homeboy turns around and goes, oh, yeah. And I'm like, oh, my God, he heard her. That's the funniest fucking thing.
Yeah, that little shit. She has no filter.
God. Oh, my God. How did you learn to speak New Jersey?
Dude, I really wish the camera would have been on for that. Like, I do my best to keep my kids away from, social media and stuff like that. But that would have been worth a TikTok. I'm just saying.
I'm telling you right now, dude.
So, and I'm going to tell a little story on Kent here too. Just a more of a fun factoid. Kent actually speaks Spanish really fucking well. Like really well.
Thanks, man.
I lived in Florida for quite some time. And one of my first jobs was actually at like 12, 13 years old working in tobacco fields in North Carolina. I have known and have spoken Spanish quite well in my day. I've since lost it. I've got an ear for it still. I can generally communicate with somebody. But if you're going to ask me to directly translate exactly verbatim what they're saying, get somebody else. But I've always been impressed because I've been on the phone with you when you get like a work call and the person on the other end of the line happens to be a fluent Spanish speaker or a native Spanish speaking person. And I hear you start rattling off. I'm like, damn. They pressed 9 for Kent. So yeah, it's a good skill to have.
It is. It does. Those dudes. So they're don't hear me. Those folks are fine people. They're a little bit like the whole dirt bike thing is just a little bit like while you're out trying to relax in Jeep Rounder. It feels like you're getting like attacked by the shredders or something like that.
It's like Mad Max.
Yeah, a little bit. But those dudes are 100% cool. They're super nice and super.
No. Let's be clear. I don't care what language you speak or what culture you hail from. If you're a dirt biker, you're probably a douchebag.
Well, okay, fair, but
yeah, you're probably a douchebag. People on side by sides, Jeeps, pickups. I don't give a shit. You wave, good day, awesome stuff. Dirt bikers, y'all are assholes. So, yeah. And I've seen that universally everywhere I've been. Every time we go camping, whatever have you, people on the dirt bikes always got this fucking attitude, and I don't understand it. I really don't.
So, you want to hear another funny Kent story?
Of course.
Tim Herron let me do an awful lot as far as AI duties were concerned in this last class that we had.
Mm-hmm.
And he let me call out the throttle control drill. And in my head, I turned it into alphabet soup. I'm yelling shit out, and they're looking at me like, what the fuck is this guy saying? Bro, the whole deal was, 7 yards, 15 yards, and 25 yards. And I'm yelling out, center, left, middle, far, near, up. And they're like, the fuck?
Your AI's having a stroke.
Dude, him and Justin were like, what are you saying? I'm like, what? I'm just yelling out shit like as I see it. And Justin's like, nobody else sees it the way you do. I'm like, 25's in the center, the middle is 15, and 7 is near. So I'm yelling 7, middle, near, and they're like, huh? And I hit beep, and they're all like, what? So to their credit, some dudes just went, blah, 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 and fucking. Oh, it happened too many.
Did anybody pass with you calling it out like that?
Yeah, he had to correct me like 3 times, and then he kept walking by me and going, near, middle, far. And I'm like, Romeo Blue, Alpha 27, beep. And they're like, what are you?
Yeah, you calling out plays for Notre Dame.
Exactly. So finally I said to Tim, I was like, Tim, you don't understand audibles, do you? And he's like, certainly don't. I'm up there going, 55 is Mike, 55 is Mike, X-ray, blue, Delta, Delta.
Are you calling for air support? What are you doing?
All these fucking dudes are just like.
Oh, I just thought of another thing that we should have had. I think you might have had yours with you, but I do not have one yet, and I wish I would have.
What?
InReach.
Oh yeah, I do have my InReach with me at all times.
Right. That is one thing. Weird way of getting there, but I thought air support, and it made me think.
No, I get it.
If something really bad happened, we ain't getting off this trail quick.
You can beat boop them. Cost you $20,000 to hit the helicopter button.
I mean, what's your life worth, bro?
Absolutely.
Especially after you heard rattles.
Oh, the snake.
Yeah.
The rattlesnake. That's true.
Yeah. Oh, you found one. I didn't even see the damn thing.
Well, that's because I didn't tell you about it.
To be fair, but you should have told me about it. I would have loved to have seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Snakes don't bother me. It's the size of the goddamn spider webs we were driving by that were freaking me out. All you see is a line coming from the front of my Jeep. You think I'm winching up. Nope, TJ's about to get eaten.
Yeah. Yeah, there was some Peter.
Those were huge. Those were huge.
There were some big spider webs.
You look up, you see like there's a dog and another human. It's just suspended from the tree. It's like a scene from Predator.
I just pictured Sweetie getting eaten.
I was worried about Daisy.
Yeah. I have to pee. I'll be back. talk to them.
Okay. Yeah, fun times. So, folks, I want to hear about your questions, right? I want to hear what you have to say. What are some of your off-roading adventures? What are some things that you would like to ask us about? I know, look, we talk about guns on this podcast all the time. After all, it is the Sling'N Led podcast. But I'm curious what questions you guys have, right? So post them in the chat below. Send us questions on Facebook, Instagram, whatever have you. Would love to talk more about this stuff, right? Aside from the shooting and the jiu-jitsu and the medical and stuff like that, right? Off-roading and camping are a huge passion for me. And now that Kent's been bitten by the bug, hopefully him too. If anything, it'll give me an excuse or get an excuse to get his ass down here to Tennessee to come see how we do it in the country. So hit me with your best shot. Let me know what you guys got. We'll answer them as we continue on with the podcast. Just a couple of simple announcements.
In your shower.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it's half your shower too. It's really odd when both of us are in there at the same time, though. It's a small shower for two dudes.
It is a little shower.
So,
I'm sorry.
No, I was just actually saying just a couple of announcements, or at least one announcement. You know, we are back, right? Kent and I, there is generally a month and a half out of the year, generally around summertime, where Kent and I we're busy. We want to take some time away, right? And all that stuff. Difference between off-reading and overlanding. I believe you mean off-roading and overlanding. Okay, so overlanding is, from what I can gather, driving down, and it's extreme camping, if you will, right?
Yep.
The intent is to see some beautiful locations. And like, let's be clear, you don't have to have a super serious rig to go overlanding, right? The 4x4 helps, of course, but honestly, I would classify Kent's Ford as an overlanding rig. He's got his tent. It's more of a life support vehicle, but it's capable of going places that most cars and crossovers can't go. But he's not doing some serious rock crawling. He's maybe sticking to some green trails or some easy trails at worst, right? But the intent is to get off the road and away from the quote unquote designated campsite, right? And just getting out there and actually camping out in nature. That is overlanding, right? Off-roading, you may not even be camping, right? You're just going to go try and crawl some of the craziest trails that you think you can and make a day of it, right? So that really is kind of the big difference in my opinion. Kent, do you have any difference of opinion on that one?
I don't differ. I'll say that I did more overlanding in Vermont, where like you'd spend most of a day getting to a really cool campsite
that not many other people can get to.
That you better be on foot and you better be in fucking shape to get there. And then you camp there and have a really cool experience. And then get up the next morning and pack up all the gear and turn around and go right back, kind of thing. I did a lot of that. That was really fun.
Yeah. Extreme cross country travel.
Yeah.
I think that's a good comparison, right?
Yeah. I mean, and don't get me wrong, like I used to camp in a place that is part of the Jeep Jamboree thing for Killington in Vermont, where I would go out to the really cool campsite and hang out. I just wouldn't spend all day slamming my truck off of every terrible obstacle you could find.
Although, speaking of Jeep Jamboree,
yes,
that's something that we ought to do with the girls.
Let's go to Killington and do it.
No. I mean the real Jeep Jamboree.
Yeah, there's one in Killington.
No, the real one, the original. You know where that is? You know where that is, right?
No, I don't.
So it's the Rubicon Trail.
Oh.
It is a long weekend of barbecue, off-roading, floating down a river, and being drunk off your ass.
Okay.
It is not
the idea of going to the Killington one better because I still have friends there and connections, and we could go have fun. I could show you where we used to live.
Yeah, we could do that too, but we'd have to leave it. Let's replace it with the drunken debauchery, or let's include the drunken debauchery in warmer weather to go tubing.
You can go tubing during Jeep Jamboree in Killington.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, let's make sure it's, good warm weather.
Yeah.
Think the closest thing to a beach that you can get without the beach.
Lake Champlain.
That works.
Sure. Fuck yeah.
I'm down for that.
You just get eaten by the lake monster.
I mean, don't tempt me with a good time.
Yeah, there's like a Loch Ness monster looking.
I'll say now I got to hear about this fucking lake monster.
It's called Champ.
Okay. I'm vaguely familiar.
Yeah. Well, Champ is like the Lake Champlain.
Instead of Nessie, y'all have Champ.
Right.
That's like the least threatening name for a water monster.
I mean, he's real.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You truly believe this story?
He's in our hearts.
Jesus. Wait, Kent, I'm not sure where this is going, but is Champ by chance a giant purple plush dinosaur that sings songs?
You're not far off. If you saw some of the graphics, he's definitely cartoonish. I'll give it that.
Okay, fair.
Yeah,
fair.
He's not plush.
Not plush. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Maybe less whimsical with the songs.
No, the theme song's pretty fucking whimsical.
Okay. Yeah, you're not painting a very intimidating picture, bro.
No, I'm pretty sure I'd want to pet him and throw a ball for him to fetch. I'm not really afraid he's going to eat me.
Speaking of which, you need to dude, you really need to add dog training to your menu of service offerings for Green Mountain Defense.
Right?
I mean, granted, you can't keep your golden off the center island in your kitchen.
No, wait a minute here. I was only the 3 times.
Well, yeah, when we leave, he acts like an asshole. He's like, okay, the company's gone. I'm going to go back to being a dick.
He's a good boy.
No, this dog, 6 months old, will let you balance his favorite ball on his nose, really any of his ball toys on his nose, and he will patiently wait there until you let go, and he will snatch it up or try to. He'll fetch, retrieves. He comes when he's called generally. And when my daughter was asleep on your floor, right, he'd go curl up right next to me like, I'm the best boy ever. Aww. And then we leave and we get a picture of him standing on the center island of the kitchen.
Justin calls him Floppy Dog.
That's a good name for him.
Yeah.
Yep. But no, dude, I'm dead serious. My son has taken quite a shine to Kent, or Uncle Kent, right? And rightfully so. I mean, to all intents and purposes, it should be no surprise to any of you guys that, Kent and Soph are Uncle Kent and Aunt Sophie, right? But my son has taken quite a shine to Uncle Kent, and is absolutely enamored with how well he trains his dogs. I was like, I'm just going to send you up here for a summer and let you learn how to train dogs with Kent, because we need somebody in the house that knows how to do this shit. Right?
That's a good idea. That'd be a lot of fun.
I think it'd be pretty cool. It'd probably be good for him.
We'll take him for we're running like a halfway house for kids that are almost going to ruin their lives around here sometimes. So, I mean, what the hell? It'll be fun.
The difference being he's a straight A student and generally a pretty good kid. But although I will say you put a bug in my ear. You dropped a little earwig, and I've been watching these videos on YouTube trying to learn more about it.
What's that?
You brought up a really interesting point. So my son, bit of a backstory here. So when summer came around, I told my son, I said, buddy, you're not going to sit on your ass all summer and play video games. It's not going to happen. I want you to pick 3 things that you're going to learn. Anything you want, but it's going to be something educational to some degree. And I want you to strive to be a better person. Right. So whatever you want to learn, I will support it, but you got to pick 3 things that are not video game related that you want to learn. One of the things that he wanted to learn about engineering. So I did enroll him in Mark Rober's engineering course online, which he's been doing. Yeah, actually quite enjoyable. He also mentioned that he wanted to fish. He never actually quite picked a 3rd thing, but he mentioned that he wanted to learn how to fish better. So, okay. Admirable skills that I will support.
Yeah.
So Uncle Kent took Bubba out in the backyard and broke out Kent's fly fishing rig. And Uncle Kent proceeded to teach Wyatt how to cast a fly rod. Now, my son has ADHD severely, right? And I was, Kent came over. I'm like, what's with the fly rod? And Kent relate to me. He goes, dude, I will put a fly rod in a kid's hands before I will put any other fishing setup in a kid's hands, because it always gives them something to do. They don't lose interest as easily, and it's more enjoyable. And you actually can catch quite a bit of damn fish on a fly reel, right? And that stuck with me. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, because I hate fishing too. I'm not a fisherman. I do not like fishing. But as I've started looking into it, I'm like, you know what? I could probably get into this fly fishing thing.
Oh, man.
Right? But then I started looking up how much them fucking things cost. Holy shit.
Well, I do have a penchant for expensive hobbies, Mr. Ramsey.
This is a true statement. But at the same time, I was looking at seeing, like, naturally, as you start looking at those videos, you start researching the topic. Like, you'll see people that have, like, just a $900 fly rod and, like, another $600 reel.
Yep.
And that's before you get into your what is it? The backer, the fly line, and the leader.
Yep.
Or the tibbet. See, I'm learning.
Yep, you are.
Pay attention. And not to mention the bait, $3 to $7 a piece, right? But you can actually get into this actually quite inexpensively, right? You can do, if you wanted to get into fly fishing for under $200, you could.
Yeah.
Right. And if I'm looking at setting up a rod reel for me and my son, because there's plenty of places, like, by the way, funniest thing I've ever seen in Tennessee or any other landlocked state is when people drive by in their squatted pickup trucks and it says Salt Life.
Oh, yeah.
There ain't no salt water here, bro.
Yeah.
But that, besides the point, there's a lot of rivers and lakes and stuff here in Tennessee. There's plenty of places to go fly fishing. Actually, there's a couple of places like within an hour or two of where we live that are good fly fishing areas. So I have been contemplating getting him set up and me set up with some fly fishing tackle, and ultimately ended up going fly fishing probably this year or next year. So I figure late summer, early Christmas gift maybe, right? A dad and junior setup for fly fishing. Spend a couple of the months like in the backyard casting like you and him were doing, like just kind of learning the rigging, getting familiar with the equipment, and then ultimately taking the jump out there and going out to a river and seeing what we can catch with it. So, Justin, you ask a good question. So, Justin asks about bow fishing.
My gears are turning on this. We're going to get back into this.
I would love to go bow fishing. I have a recurve bow that can be set up for bow fishing. I would love it.
Hold on a second. I have a problem with bow fishing.
Why do you have a problem with bow fishing?
Because I can't figure out what bows eat.
Oh, Jesus.
I throw all kinds of flies and bait.
Oh, my God.
I never get any bows to freaking jump out of the water. I get all.
Okay, fair statement. Touche, salesman. Touche.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you did. You got me on that one. But no, look, I would love to go bow fishing. My son, not so much. He might get into it. I don't want to sell him short. But the fly fishing thing, just constantly having to, drying the fly off and just the multi-step casting, like you're always doing something.
Yep.
And naturally, like, let's look at a comparative, right? So like open bait cast reel bass fishing, right? For the same price for 2 rods and reels for fly fishing, I could probably get 18 rods for bass fishing all set up, right? But you're dealing with bird nesting. I have never had any luck with synthetic baits like that, right? That's one of the reasons why I'm not a fan of fishing, right? I will go deep sea fishing all day long. I'll charter a boat. I'll go put 10 pounds of bait on the end of a giant cable, throw that bitch into the ocean, and try to pull up Moby Dick while I sit on the deck and drink myself stupid.
You need so much sunscreen for that.
Oh, dude. No, actually, most of those charter boats are covered. So like, you can literally like throw the line over, like you're in like 300 feet of water, throw the line over, set it in the rod holder, and you just sit back and drink and wait for your line to go whoop, and you're good, solid, no problem. You're set up for $50 at Walmart, and it's a done deal. It's a done deal.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
But we don't have any of that out here, right? So lakes, streams, rivers. We've got bluegill, we've got bass, right? There's all sorts of stuff out here, but just watching some of these people on the YouTubes and whatnot with the fly fishing, like I'm surprised at actually the yield you get for the amount of fish you catch.
Oh, absolutely.
And you can have rigs set up specifically for bass fishing.
Yes, right? You can. I love bass fishing on a fly rod.
My only challenge, so I have a conundrum with this one.
Okay.
I'm a big proponent of you eat what you kill. Right? Yeah. If I'm going to hunt or forage, fishing, hunting, whatever, I expect to eat what I catch. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't get me wrong. Catch and release, I'm totally cool with it. Right? But if I'm catching something, I want to fucking eat something. Like, I want to bring something home to the table. Like, it's ingrained in my DNA to bring something home. Bass, I've never had good bass.
Oh, you could make it good.
Yeah, I'm sure it would take a lot of, or at least a little bit of research on my part to look up a good recipe for bass.
Campfire, thyme, rosemary, a little bit of parsley.
So why are you emphasizing the H?
Thyme.
Thyme.
Cool Whip.
Yeah, why are you emphasizing the H?
That's how you say it. Cool Whip.
Yeah, whip.
Everybody loves Cool Whip.
Right.
Butter and some tinfoil wrapping the whole thing up.
That or maybe my dad's just a horrible fish cook.
Yeah.
My dad is the fisherman in the family. Like, that dude loves to fish. But I can't remember a fish dinner that he has cooked that I've enjoyed, like, taste wise. I have appreciated my father showing me and teaching me these skills and bringing food to the table. I feel like I'm a better cook than my dad because of my experiences as a child having to, like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a fan of this one, but thanks, Dad. Appreciate it. Not going to complain about the food on the table, but yeah, so I'm down for it. I'm willing to give it a shot, but yeah, man. So help, maybe when you come down in September, maybe you, me, and Bubba can take a little trip out to Academy Sports or Cabela's or whatever, or Bass Pro, and go get set up with some fly fishing stuff.
I'll tell you what. There's two ways to get set up with fly fishing stuff. Either next time you come here, we'll go to a place called Boiling Springs, and we'll go to the fly shop in Boiling Springs.
Okay.
Or if we do the Vermont trip, we'll go to the Real Orvis outlet in Vermont.
Okay.
Now, you can go to the Orvis store in Vermont, and you can buy the latest and greatest for as many $1,000s as you want to spend. Or you can go to the outlet that's right down the street and buy the demo model that they taught some dude to fish on last week for 70% off.
I'm down for that.
Yeah. Which is that's what I was showing your son how to cast with, by the way.
So that bow 70, or that rig 70% off now?
That one was yeah, right. No, that one is my knock around fly rod, that, like, not the real nice shit that my dad gave me back in the day, but like my knock around one.
Okay, so this begs the question. I had a feeling, because I do recall seeing quite a few, like, fly fishing cases.
Yes, there are many
in your house. Like, I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to them, but I noticed.
Yeah.
Okay, he's got more than one or two rods and reels, right? What is your absolute? If you're willing to discuss it on the podcast, I know there's, I don't want to talk about the $1 million of gold bullion that I keep in my gun safe behind me. Yeah. But what is your most now? Look, I know you've got some that probably mean a lot to you because they were handed down, they were generational, they're heirloom quality. But
yeah,
Price tag wise, what is the most expensive fly fishing setup that you have?
I'm looking it up right now just so I don't get my numbers wrong. Because it's been a while since I bought this thing.
Yeah, and see that's something that stood out to me too. You look at how much these things cost, and you really are purchasing like heirloom quality tackle.
Yeah.
Like you don't see like look, there are plenty of people I'm sure. Yeah, this is the Zebco rotted reel that my dad taught me how to fish for crappie on. Right? $10 special at Walmart. It's got fucking Spider-Man on it or whatever have you. But like you see somebody break out like a nice fly rod, fly reel that their family hit, like it's probably generations old because they pay a lot of money for this thing. Like this, I would put this up there with like a really nice gun that your family has handed down over generations, right?
Yeah.
I started seeing the price tags on these fucking things, and I'm like, holy crap. So Don, it's crappie, Crappie. It's a small fish, kind of like a bluegill, but it's what we teach a lot of kids to fish on around here. They're small perch, it's like a perch type fish, but it's like bluegill, but smaller.
So, Helios Blackout, 8 weight, 7.5 foot. Not right now. The nicest rod I have is selling for $1,000. Just the rod.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the one that's the really nice one that I have. Now the one that I had him messing with is my Clearwater 3, which is like $400. But actually, the only reason like he can't hurt it really. You can break shit, but they can fix them. Hell, I can fix them. The real reason I grabbed that one to show him how to use is because that one is a 7-foot fly rod, which is about the shortest fly rod you're going to get reasonably. So you don't want to hand a kid like an 11.5 or a 12-foot fly rod.
Right.
So they'll have a real hard time managing that much line. So,
well, and that's one of the things that was like, I was seeing a lot of them are like averaging about 9 feet.
There's a lot of 9 foot's a good average. 9 foot's a good average. I like my 7.5. I like a shorter rod. I don't know. I don't want to sound like a dick. You notice I can cast pretty well. I can cast
right.
I can cast a good far ways with a. The reason you want a longer rod is because the more rod you have, the more line you can manage. So you can cast pretty far.
Right.
Technique will get you there too. But that's a longer row to hoe. So some guys, it's like buying the biggest gun you can get because you shoot it better.
Okay.
Difference though is in a fly rod. Like remember where I fished a lot was up here in the Northeast. So when you're fishing a real narrow little stream, hell, an 11-foot fly rod will go from one side of the stream to the other.
Right.
You'll be casting into the dirt piles on the other side of the stream if you're not careful.
Right.
And it's hard as fuck to manage in and around brush and trees and overhangs and all that. You know, I feel like we needed that's what she said. We're talking about the size of Kent's rod. That's pretty funny. I also like a really light action rod. I don't want to super. Oh God, Don, fuck you.
Oh no, I was so gonna go there. I was gonna let you finish before I said that's what she said.
I don't want a stiff, heavy rod necessarily. I want something a little bit less girthy, if you will.
That's what she said.
I want to be able to maneuver it in tight, moist spaces where visibility is low.
Now you're just trying too hard.
And it smells like fish.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Okay. Yeah, there's some good honey holes if you know where you're. I could make fishing in. Yeah, I can go real far with this if you want. Like, how far do you want it to go?
Until we get banned.
Well,
yeah. But yeah, it's interesting, but it stuck with me. It stuck with me. It really did. Just the overall concept of no, look, it gives you something to do. Right, trying to get a kid with ADHD to just throw a worm with a bobber on in a lake somewhere and then sit still for an hour or 20 minutes or 5 minutes. Good luck.
Yeah, right.
Right. So, yeah. But no, man, look, it was a great time as always.
Yeah, it really was fun, wasn't it?
I can't wait till we can get together again. I just wish you'd hurry up and just break the news to everybody that you're closing up shop in PA and moving down to Tennessee.
Yeah, that is not true. Although I'd really like to.
Taxes are so much better down here.
So as I pay taxes. Yeah.
So, but that seems like a good stopping point for me, man. How about you?
Yeah, fuck it. I don't pay taxes. The end. Come get me. Meanwhile, they're gonna show up like tomorrow.
He's a regular Florida fly fishing 8. Don calling back my joke. I love it. He said you're a regular Florida fly fishing 8.
Oh my god. Oh, I loved, dude, the barbecue with the gay cousin and the boyfriend were the best. Those dudes are the best. They're my favorite fucking people.
Yeah, speaking of which, they owe us some one line, or they owe us some straight jokes.
Yeah, that's true. I told him, I was like, man, come on, tell me your best straight joke. They didn't have any. Well, that's true.
Yeah, they gotta get to work on that.
So, you got to think of a straight joke. What's a good straight joke?
I honestly don't know that I can think of any. Like I mean, look, straight's just being straight is cis white gendered male is just not
boring.
Cool. It's boring. Nobody wants to make a fucking joke about it, right? The closest you can get is Cat Williams or any of the other black kings of comedy doing jokes about how infomercials white people have the most horrible times doing the most simple of tasks like pouring cereal. But you ever notice that?
No. What are you talking about?
So I want you to think of every infomercial for every stupid kitchen gadget or home-based gadget that you can think of.
Okay.
It is inevitably filled with scenarios where it is a white, arguably straight, arguably defined as what some would consider a normal, stereotypical cisgendered person.
Yeah.
Fucking up the most mundane tasks. Like you've got Granny pouring cereal and then all of a sudden whacking herself in the face with like a giant box of cereal and knocking herself unconscious. It's like, has this ever happened to you pouring cereal?
Right.
This is why you need the Nerf cereal container.
Right.
Keep grandma from having a palsy fit in the middle of pouring her breakfast.
Palsy fit. It's Justin's grandma all of a sudden.
Oh, that's just so mean.
Justin, is palsy hereditary? Oh, hold on. Speaking of Justin and palsy, TJ, you got to stick with me on this. Justin should join the Special Olympics shooting team.
Yes, 100%. Sponsored by the Sling'N podcast.
Yeah, and Green Mountain Defense. I told him, listen to me. I am not kidding. I will corporate sponsor this dude. I'm in for at least $5,000. I'm talking jerseys and shirts and maybe some local media. Don, I think your employer might be interested in like some corporate, like, bro, we could do this. And it's just like, it's the theme song of Justin running around with the palsy with a gun going, I'm the best around. Because
insert montage here.
Oh my God.
Okay. All right. Bucket list item we must accomplish the next time we are together, or more specifically when we come up there to see you guys, because Justin will be there, right? We have got to get B-roll footage of Justin. I don't know what the fuck he does on the range, hopscotching his way across a fucking course of fire. And then we've got to put some arguably copywritten 80s action movie montage to it.
That's what we're talking about.
No, that's what I'm talking about too, but we actually need to manifest this.
Yeah, well, so I've got all the video of Justin hibble-hobbling around the range. I have the B-roll.
Send it.
Okay. Okay.
Send. Google Dropbox that shit to me. What the fuck ever. Get me that footage.
Okay.
I will be buying an 80s action movie license for the music as soon as I get it. All right. So Don, what does a woman and spaghetti have in common? I've got to know.
Oh, I know.
Okay, Ken, this sounds like dad joke material.
Yeah, I do, but I'm gonna let him hit his punchline because he started it, so now we have to keep the show alive at least long enough to hear Don type this.
Hang in there. We'll be right with you. They wiggle when you eat.
Yeah, see?
Oh, that's actually pretty good, Don. I'll give you that one.
Nice.
I will say that was another cool aspect of it, right?
Jesus Christ. I thought you were going to say, I'll say this about eating pussy.
No. But I was going to say that this is another thing. Don, it was actually really cool to meet you in person. What a lot of you guys don't know, we're actually getting a lot of thunder and lightning here, so we are going to have to cut this here soon. But Kent gets to hang out with so many more of our fans than I do because I'm down in my basement here in bumfuck nowhere, Tennessee. A lot of you guys showed up at the fucking barbecue, and that was some really cool shit. It was really good to see you guys and meet you guys in person. All at least somewhat halfway decent as compared to where you portray yourselves on the internet.
Right.
So that was appreciated, right? So no, it was really cool. It was really cool. No, we always enjoy coming up to see you, Ken. That's for damn sure, bro.
That was fun. All right, man. Go make sure your family's okay. Don't die in a storm.
Oh, they're gonna be fine. I'm the one wearing fucking headphones hardwired to a laptop that's connected to a cable that's connected to the house and lightning striking. So
okay, love you. Good night.
Yeah. Folks, that's all the time we have for this week. Really hope you appreciated it. As usual, and as I mentioned, we are back, so you can expect another episode next week. Hopefully, we were hoping to have a surprise guest for this episode, but that didn't happen. But hopefully, we can get him next week. Kent, I'll let you work on that.
We're working on it. He just got off an airplane after dealing with the worst AI in the face of the planet this weekend, so he might be a little tired.
Okay, fair. But yeah, we're going to try to get Tim Herron back on the show. Hopefully next week, if not shortly, soon thereafter. But guys, you're going to buy gun stuff anyway. Head over to greenmountaindefense.com/affiliate links. Why don't you patronize some of the stores and the online dealers that we subscribe to as part of their affiliate program. We try to give you some of the most mediocre content that we possibly can on this podcast. But we also do it for low cost and if not free, but that doesn't mean that this doesn't cost us anything to deliver to you. So we do appreciate you guys shopping there and us getting a little bit in return. No additional cost to you, but we get a little bit of love on the back end, and it really helps us out. Keep doing this for you as we often try to. Just a quick update on Cam. He actually did sit up for the first time within the last couple of days. He's doing really, really well. I am working on commissioning to have the shirt design for him. It does appear, if I remember correctly, they were really close to their goal on GoFundMe. But if you head over to our YouTube channel, the in-person episode that Kent and I did where we talked about Cam, the GoFundMe is in the comments of that video. Head on over and check that out. If not, just get on GoFundMe and search Cameron Hayes. It'll pop right up for you. You cannot miss his mug on the cover photo. That's for damn sure. But Cam and his girlfriend, we wish them a speedy recovery. They've got a long road ahead of them. But Cam, if you're watching, buddy, we love you. We miss you. We can't wait to get you back on the podcast. With that being said, everybody take care of each other. God bless you all. Get out and shoot.
Bye-bye.